Welcome back to the news at 10. Xiaomi has announced the release of a series of its high-end, mid-range and entry-level smartphones in Nigeria. Redmi Note 8 Pro leads the pack with a better storage option, pricing, camera setup and other features, providing a versatile experience for the user.
Xiaomi has taken the wraps off the Redmi Note 8 Pro and other smartphones in its new series. Optimal performance for gaming experience, ultra-high resolution camera, high-capacity battery, all these come in budget-friendly prices. It is the brand's first-ever 64-megapixel camera smartphone, a gadget photographers, gamers, anyone seeking quality experience will find attractive.
For the gamers in the house, you have different ways you hold your phone while playing the game. Irrespective of the ways, you still have better access to better Wi-Fi. Not only that, a phone with a very good performance, better camera, also comes with a bigger battery.
The distributor of the smartphone says Xiaomi understands the market by building technology to suit different personalities.
Xiaomi, there is a very big advantage, is that they are very innovative and they analyze the market bottom top, so they are really seeing the gaps in the market, seeing the demands of the customer, listening for their fans. So at the end of the story, they come with a wide range of products that suits any customer.
Xiaomi says it is delivering innovation for everyone with the Redmi Note 8 Pro coming into the market with new hardware and a set of much-needed features.
With Xiaomi, you have it all. In terms of quality, performance, battery, you have it all. And yet, the pricing is fantastic. So what we are celebrating today is the King and the Note 8 series. For Note 7, Note 7 has done a wonder. It has been wonderful. Their brand acceptability has been good. The brand affinity has been awesome. Xiaomi is 6 months old in Nigeria, but it's like a journey of 6 years.
The Redmi Note series are available in different colors, prices, and open sales for all the variants will start on November 4th, 2019.
Let's get some more business stories now. Here's Anne Mawodo.
You First. First Bank.
Thank you, Amarachi. Welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Customs Service has impounded 36 containers of expired rice, among other contraband items, at the Tinkan Island port in Lagos. Speaking at the seizure, the Controller General of Customs, Hamed Ali, says that this is one of the many gains of the ongoing exercise, as this action may have prevented diseases and possible deaths in the country.
We are showcasing decisions made by Tinkan Command of the Nigerian Customs Service as a response to these recent developments. They include 33 containers of rice, 1 container of rice concealed with spare parts, 11 containers of unregistered pharmaceutical products, 2 containers of used tires, 1 of used clothing, and 4 containers of refined vegetable oil in retail packs. The total number of containers are 54 in number, comprising of 15 by 40 feet containers and 39 by 20 feet containers, with duty paid value of 2,713,865,051 naira.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has unveiled Nigeria's capital market fintech roadmap, a guideline that aims to shape regulations for the market and boost financial inclusion. The SEC released the roadmap today at the opening ceremony of the Nigerian Fintech Week, which also featured a masterclass for other regulators, including the central bank. Our correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
According to a venture investment report by WeTracker, fintech startups in Africa raised some $725.6 million in 458 deals in 2018, with Nigeria accounting for a majority. To manage the fast-growing sector, financial regulators and operators have converged on these dialogue sessions to chart a course on some burning issues.
All regulatory institutions, including central bank, are faced with developing the framework that will keep up with these technological changes, that will retain the confidence that is sine qua non. I think that's the word I will use. It is the basic requirement for users of financial transactions to be sure that the entire system is safe and credible.
The session leads to the birthing of the FinTech Roadmap for the Nigerian capital market, an integral part of a 10-year master plan developed by the SEC.
It is our belief that this policy document will broaden the robust conversation and engagement within the ecosystem, encourage responsible use of new technologies and digital finance in the capital markets.
We are sure that very soon we'll be able to have better clarity, we'll be able to have more purposeful regulation and guidance in terms of how to approach the use of blockchain and particularly cryptocurrency in a way that will protect the common man, because what the regulator is all about is protecting the common man.
With the release of the FinTech Roadmap comes more attention for deep learning potential applications to step up market supervision and regulatory compliance. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Downbeat sentiment returned to the equities markets today, and that's after recording its third and brief rebound in the previous session. Edidiang Ewang has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Now, profit taking on the shares of MTN Nigeria and big banking names such as GT Bank and UBA dragged the overall index back into the negative territory by 0.53%. Now, looking at the sector chart, we see that 3 out of the 5 major counters we track closed the day negative, with banking and industrial goods down 0.95% each, while oil and gas shed 0.16%. Total turnover of shares traded today were lower compared with Monday's session, as 267.89 million shares worth 2.7 billion naira changed hands in almost 3,000 transactions. But the banking sector's performance is the highest for the day as lenders topped the list of major trades. FCMB was the highest in terms of volume, while GT Bank was highest in terms of value. Logistics company Red Star Express tops a list of 13 gainers by 9.88%, while Champs PLC led 9 other losers by 4.35%. Well, that's a summary of trading today on the NSE. I'm Edidiang Ewang.
Thank you, Edidiang. Well, the red color dominated day two in leading global stock markets around the world. Investors reacted to latest earnings while expecting a rate cut from the Federal Reserve this week. Let's see the closing figures for today. And that's business news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. The rest of the news at 10 continues shortly with Amarachi Obani. I'm Anne Nwawudu. Good evening.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks, Anne. UK MPs have voted in favour of Prime Minister Boris Johnson's December 12 general election after rejecting an amendment to move it forward to December 9th. By a margin of 438 to 20 votes, the Commons approved legislation paving the way for the first December election since 1923. Simon Pusey has more in Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. The UK will hold a general election before Christmas. Members of Parliament have backed the bill, a win for the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who's been pushing for an early ballot.
There is only one way to get Brexit done in the face of this unrelenting parliamentary obstructionism, this endless, willful, fingers crossed, not me gov refusal to deliver on the mandate of the people, and that is, Mr. Speaker, to refresh this Parliament and give the people a choice.
Support grew for the vote after the European Union agreed to delay Brexit until January the 31st.
We always said we wanted an election, we do want an election, but we wanted no deal to be taken off the table. We've now had confirmation from all 28 EU member states that no deal is off the table, so we're going to go out there with the biggest campaign this party has ever mounted.
I will go into that general election with a Liberal Democrat very strong position to stop Brexit, and if people elect a majority Liberal Democrat government on day one as Prime Minister, I will revoke Article 50.
More than 20 bodies have been recovered from a landslide in western Cameroon. Dozens are still missing after the disaster which happened late on Monday night. Heavy rainfall caused a hill to collapse, destroying houses when most people were at home. The Prime Minister of Lebanon, Saad al-Hariri, has announced his resignation amid unprecedented protests.
من 13 يوم والشعب اللبناني ناطر قرار بحل سياسي يوقف التدهور. وأنا حاولت طول هالفترة لاقي مخرج نستمع من خلاله لصوت الناس ونحمي البلد من المخاطر الأمنية واقتصادية ومعيشية. اليوم ما بخفيكم وصلت لطريق مسدود وصار لازم نعمل صدمة كبيرة لمواجهة الأزمة. أنا طالع على قصر بعبدة لتقديم استقالة الحكومة.
It follows more violence on the streets of Beirut as people demonstrated for a 13th day against political corruption and the mismanagement of finances, which has pushed the country towards economic collapse. The protests have crippled Lebanon, forcing the closure of banks, businesses and schools. The United Nations is calling for an investigation into the deaths of dozens of Iraqis. More than 70 people were killed in the latest round of protests against the government, and hundreds were injured during clashes with security forces and militia groups at the weekend. Funerals have now been held for some of the victims. Assistance Mission for Iraq and an Iraqi government committee found evidence of wrongdoing by security forces.
In both those reports, they recognise that excessive force has been used, so that's on the part of the authorities. So I think it's very much incumbent on the authorities to ensure, at least as much as they can, their own security forces act with due restraint in accordance with international standards.
2 British men are recovering from a shark attack in Australia. The tourists who'd been snorkelling near Airlie Beach in Queensland were reportedly wrestling and thrashing about in the water when the incident happened. A 28-year-old had his right foot bitten off in the attack, and his 22-year-old friend suffered serious calf lacerations.
One of the male patients was attacked first, and the shark is believed to return and come back and attack the second patient. Both patients were loaded onto the vessel that they were out on the day cruise. There was believed to be 2 international paramedics on board that vessel who have instigated first aid treatment.
And finally, 2 mean feats of human endurance. A Nepali mountaineer and former British Marine has smashed the record for scaling the world's highest mountains, climbing 14 peaks in just over 6 months. 36-year-old Nims Purja began his challenge in April on Annapurna Mountain in Nepal and completed his final ascent in China. It took the previous record holder almost 8 years to complete the mammoth effort. Every peak is more than 8,000 metres above sea level.
This is possible!
And from the highest points on Earth to a world first underwater, a freestyle diver in Turkey has set a new record, holding her breath while swimming 100 metres without fins. 34-year-old Shahika Erjaman completed her challenge in the icy waters of Cilindere Cave. She dedicated her achievement to the Turkish Republic and Turkish soldiers. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Thanks a lot, Simon. And still ahead on the news at 10, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports set to exercise oversight function on all sports federations as it pushes for drastic reforms in the sector. Stay with us.